Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is our pleasure to welcome Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, ministers and delegates from the SAARC countries, members of Parliament, the heads of mission from SAARC countries, and this distinguished audience to the inaugural session of the third conference of the SAARC Information Ministers. Before we begin the proceedings, we'd like to welcome Honorable Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee by presenting some flowers to him. May I now call upon Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, the Honorable Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India, to kindly deliver today's welcome address.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Honorable Information Ministers from SAARC countries, Secretary General of SAARC, other delegates from SAARC nations, Honorable Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you. I would like to particularly convey my sincere gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister for not only agreeing to inaugurate this conference, but indeed he has shown a remarkable gesture by delaying his departure for Russia. Indeed, all the other members of his delegations are waiting for him at the airport. Perhaps it is a measure of the importance which he attaches to the entire SAARC movement, which in turn is based upon the fundamental premise that in an increasingly interdependent world, perhaps the cause of peace and prosperity can be subserved by better understanding and meaningful cooperation in our region. Why this third Information Minister Conference of SAARC Nation is indeed very important? Because it is being held in the backdrop of the fact that today, in our contemporary world, information is increasingly playing a very crucial role. Today, information is power, and its reach is being facilitated by the power of technology. Today's global economy is substantially knowledge-driven. And we in the SAARC nations need to properly use this explosion of information for the betterment of our people and also empowering them. We in India are willing to do our best in the creation of a knowledge-based society. We need to encourage free flow of information, which in turn can be promoted by media exchange and fostering media brotherhood. We also need to recognize the worth of creativity and understand that creativity in any form, whether it films, television, or music, brings people-to-people contact all the more richer and intimate. We need to encourage movement of creative people in the region and also take steps to protect the quality of creation and recognize the right of the creator. Lastly, it hardly needs any emphasis that any free flow of information ultimately prospers in a free society. If we want freedom of information, we must give information in freedom. And all this can be promoted in an environment of peace, harmony, reciprocity, and cooperation. Let us rededicate ourselves to these abiding principles of the SAARC movement and carry it forward. With these words, warm welcome to all of you once again. Thank you and namaskar.
It is indeed our privilege to have amongst us Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. May we request him to kindly deliver today's inaugural address.
Shri Ravi, Shankar, Prasad, Information Ministers of SAARC countries, Secretary General of SAARC, distinguished guests. It is a pleasure to be here with you. As our Information and Broadcasting Minister has just said, I have somewhat delayed my departure for my tour abroad to share some thoughts with you on this important occasion. Meetings of SAARC forums are welcome opportunities for exchange of views and perspectives among various strata of our society, contributing to greater mutual awareness and better understanding. A conference of information ministers is particularly valuable since they frame our national policies on dissemination of news, views, and perceptions through our mass media. Friends, I have recently returned from an India-ASEAN summit meeting in Bali, where we took many momentous decisions about closer integration between India and ASEAN. We concluded a framework agreement on comprehensive economic cooperation, including free trade, barely a year after commencement of negotiations. We advanced towards an open skies policy for passenger traffic and for cargo services. We also discussed some significant sub-regional cooperation initiatives for BIMSTEC and the Mekong-Ganga River. Later this month, we will host an India-European Union summit in Delhi, where similarly many new proposals for economic cooperation are on the anvil. In Moscow this week, I will also be discussing the multimodal north-south transport corridor linking India, Iran, and Central Asia with Russia. I am mentioning all this because such experiences in regional and sub-regional cooperation hold a lesson for SAARC. Since its inception in 1985, SAARC has been struggling to emerge from the concept to the practical reality of close regional cooperation. The concept is to harness our abundant natural resources, our talented human energies, and our industrial synergies to accelerate growth and development in our countries. We are yet to achieve this. Post-Cold War alignments and the technology revolution have set in motion trends which we can ignore only at our peril. ASEAN is of course an old example of the triumph of economic organization over political differences. We can also see how post-Cold War Europe has forgotten its former political divisions and accepted differential economic development while expanding the European unity. Innovative regional and sub-regional arrangements are being launched in Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean region, including countries which have a history of bitter hostility towards each other. This is a dominant trend in today's globalizing world. It is time that we recognize what it means for all of us in South Asia. If SAARC cannot organize itself, it will simply miss the boat. Other alignments will develop to seize the economic opportunities offered by closer integration. We cannot forever be challenging logic and mocking economics. Friends, I would like to take this opportunity to reaffirm that India is fully committed to the effort to build on our commonalities and shared aspirations for equitable development. I often hear the argument that our unequal physical size and economic thoughts and economic strengths inhibit equal cooperation. I believe these very factors can be turned to mutual economic advantage by creating interlinkages which can enhance confidence and trust. The collective size of our markets creates economies of scale with obvious impact on costs of production and competitiveness. We invite all our SAARC neighbors to participate in India's economy rather than be apprehensive about it. We have repeatedly expressed our willingness to enter into preferential trading arrangements and free trade agreements within the SAARC framework. We are equally willing to do so with SAARC countries individually. With Nepal and Bhutan, we have had such special trading arrangements for decades. With Sri Lanka, we have gone a considerable distance down that road. We are making a beginning with Bangladesh also. As I said, at the Kathmandu SAARC summit, we are also willing to have a special and differential treatment for the least developed SAARC countries. Friends, all this has immediate relevance to information ministers, since the media today plays a crucial role in molding opinions and shaping public attitudes. Technology changes have today led to an explosive expansion in media platforms, including newspapers and magazines, TV channels and radio stations, and the internet. The mass media can no longer remain the monopoly of governments. Private initiative has permeated every sphere of media activity. There is a surge in the flow of information, education, entertainment, and culture among the peoples of the world. At the same time, it has become economically viable to develop platforms for dissemination of programs of special strength interest to specific communities. This revolution in communications presents great opportunity to SAARC countries. We need to use the technologies rather than try to suppress them. We should try to ensure that our populations have been access to all the media platforms in our region so that they remain completely up to date, not only about major political events, but also economic, cultural and sociological trends in all our countries. In this way, the media can be a powerful force for information rather than propaganda, for education rather than prejudice, for awareness rather than misinformation. We can carry regular SAARC news programs on national TV and radio channels. We should properly publicize and project SAARC activities within and outside the region. Information on developmental programs and cultural events in individual SAARC countries should be aired in all the other countries of the region. This free flow of information, news, views, and perspectives can do more for regional cooperation than any political exhortation. Since we are committed to SAARC, let us try this method. For this Information Ministers Conference, you have a rich agenda. It includes the evolution of a SAARC recognized regional media forum, annual conference of editors from SAARC countries, training facilities for media persons, and a SAARC media development fund. I hope you will also consider constructively India's suggested guidelines on transnational satellite broadcasting in our region. I hope you will approach this agenda with the objective of genuinely strengthening all-round regional cooperation in information and media. To allow India's commitment to this process, we would be willing to offer under our technical and economic assistance program 12 seats to SAARC countries in training institutions for various media disciplines. I will conclude by extending my best wishes for your discussion at this conference. Your deliberation should open new windows of cooperation. There is an overwhelming desire for friendship and cooperation at the level of the people of our region. We as politicians should respond to this demand. Thank you.